was supposed to be the five business strategies to improve your business, but actually it's going to be 7. And I'm going to go a little bit fast because this actually is an hour presentation. So I'd like you guys to take notes, in fact. This is going to be dealing with strategy. And where this came from was when I moved from Chicago to Maryland, as well as setting up a plumbing company and setting up other companies. This is kind of a way to have a fresh start with anything that you want to get involved. So strategy 1. This is the first thing that I have on here is pick a side, choose your business. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to do one thing, but there should be something that everybody knows us for. You know, when they say, I want whatever the product or service is, they should be able to say, oh, that's Nadine, she has that. So by actually having a mental vision in your mind of what it is that you want to be focused on, it'll help you to choose either being a winner or a loser. That's what those little flags are. Okay. What I suggest is a product or service that fills a large consumer need. What does that mean? Well, sometimes what we can do is just ask people, what is it that they're interested in? You know, what situations or challenges are you going through? That if you hear enough of the same type of thing, then you can say, you know what, I know I'm doing this, but maybe I can add this problem-solving or challenge-solving situation to my business, because that's really what people want, is to be able to solve their challenges. Also, something sustainable with low or no competition. That doesn't mean that we have to do something that nobody else is doing. However, maybe we can do our business in a way that nobody else has done before. For instance, a lot of this was based upon being a plumbing contractor. And when I was in Chicago, there was thousands of those. And I said to myself, what is it that would make me different from the other ones? Well, one of the main problems that I heard people talking about is my clients primarily were women. And they didn't like plumbers treating them like they didn't know anything. So I focused on making sure that everything was explained in such a way where they didn't need to have a degree in plumology. That's not a word, I just made it up. But they could still understand what was going on. So that set me apart from the competition. Strategy 2, choose your battlefield. Now, a lot of people I talk to, I say, well, where do you work? They don't really have an answer. Well, wherever a customer is. That's not being honest. To be honest, you should say, where is it that you want to be? I live in Roswell, but I also like to do work in Sandy Springs. So those are primarily my 2 areas that I work in. We're getting ready to expand what we do into Alpharetta. And in order to be able to strategically put resources in a place, you have to say to yourself, where do you want to be? Just working anywhere that people come is not a good answer. So you need to have a battlefield. How do you do that? Using good intel. One of the things I have here, a satellite. Using good intel would be using the internet. You can actually see trends of things. One thing that Sheri and I were listening to on the way here was the latest Success magazine was talking about how that Twitter, you can actually go on there and see what it is that people are talking about. That's good intel, because if you're doing something that people aren't interested in, that really doesn't make sense. So you can use those tools for good intel. As well as I have down here, scouts, little scouts. Those are other people that you can actually have in your network. Ask around, see what it is that people are interested in. Strategy 3, setting up your base camp. Once you actually determine the area that you're working in, you want to say, where can people find you if they're interested in your product or service? And I would suggest having an automated system for sales at your location. Let me give you an example. A lot of us can't really afford to have a storefront for our businesses. One of the things that I used that was super effective when I was doing plumbing, and I actually teach this to my clients, is I love Dunkin' Donuts. I switched to another company, but I used to always go there every day. And what I would do as a plumber, all of the people that would sit around me, I would give them my business card. But it was a process between 8 and 9 o'clock. People would know, they could set their watch that Randall will be there between those times. So guess what happens? People go, oh, I need plumbing. Well, Randall is going to be at Dunkin' Donuts between 8 and 9. So people can come there and see me, as well as I'm enjoying myself anyway, and I'm meeting more people by passing out my card. So that's a good automated system without having to do a lot of work, and I had some enjoyment too. Strategy 4. Setting up your barracks. You need soldiers. Always be recruiting. To win, you need allied forces and support. What that means is the school system that most of us have been through traditionally sets us up in a way where everything is about us and our own personal success. You know, look at the award I got. Look at how good my grades are. I'm a valedictorian. The world of business doesn't work like that. The business world is a team sport. So what happens is when we've been indoctrinated into a process all of our life of being a shining star by ourselves, when we come out here and are trying to make money, we get confused because we can't function that way. So what we need to do is always be recruiting. This is good for people in here who love network marketing like me. Recruiting doesn't necessarily mean recruiting people into your network marketing business, but you need to be looking for partners who you can help and they can help you, because it's strength in numbers. While we're actually here having this meeting, imagine if there's like 10 people who love you and your business that are talking about how great you are. That's some of the things that we should be doing. Strategy 5. Nadine talked about this earlier today. Build a factory to produce vehicles of value. This will give us riding instead of walking, which is the leverage of recruiting groups instead of individuals. Well, what does that mean? A lot of people, as we mentioned earlier, don't like to speak in front of groups. However, the law of numbers will indicate if you have 30 people in a room, at least one person is going to be interested. If you always spend your time talking to one person at a time, you're going to spend a lot of time and not going to get the results. So if we usually, the figure that's used, I like Jim Rohn, for instance. He talks about the 10% rule. If you talk to 10 people, one person is going to be interested in what you have. So guess what we do? We use math. We get 30 people. That means we get 3. So if you're in a room of 100 people, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get 10. Even if you don't really know how to say what you're saying, you stumble through your words, it's okay. A lot of people stop themselves because they think that everything has to be perfect. Nobody really cares about that. Moving on to the next one. Strategy 6. Defenses. I have one here. Use the leverage of the consigliere, which is a reference from the Godfather movie. A lot of people have seen that movie, and some people have their different opinions about it, but I look at everything from a point of strategy. In the Godfather movies, Tom, who is the advisor to the family, prevented a lot of bad things from happening by thinking about it first before doing things. Just like we're talking about strategy like war or an army, it's not effective if you just say, I'm just going to go attack and attack and attack. That's not effective. By thinking about moves before you do them, sometimes you can avoid costly mistakes. What do I mean by that? Well, you can actually get people in your camp who may have a different perspective than you have. You don't want to have a lot of yes men and yes women saying, oh man, everything that you say is great. Sometimes what we do just doesn't make sense. So I will defer to other people and say, listen, I'm thinking about doing this in my business. What do you think? And then they'll say, well, that's good, but you might want to tweak that, which helped me avoid costly mistakes. Number 7, Air Force. Now this is going back to the network marketing folks. I like using the leverage of expanding your reach nationally by creating a system of business that achieves your goals without your physical presence. People who don't even like or do network marketing, I think about Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, and earlier today, Adrian mentioned Warren Buffett. All of these people who are millionaires and billionaires suggest that you should get yourself involved in some kind of network marketing company. Even if you aren't a fan, it just makes sense. It's statistically proven that more millionaires are made by investing a small amount of money in a network marketing company, working a proven business, and being able to get people even if it's not you, somebody in your group would become a superstar and could possibly make you rich. And that's what people who are rich do. They don't think about their own effort. They think about having the effort of a lot of different people all over the place, because if it's counter to what we learned in school. And so sometimes it's hard to teach people that new mindset that, listen, I'm going to do my little part here, you're going to do your little part here, and all those parts add up to the whole. So that's my presentation today, and with these 7 strategies, what's going to happen is that you will be a winner. I'm Randall Phillips with Great Day Business Coaching. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.